So I have a Samsung S24 Ultra, and the camera vibrates when you take a video recording. You see there's some rattling noise because the camera lens is probably broken. There is OIS which rattles the phone a bit, but this is a bit more louder. So let's see why it's happening. So I'm just going to make a small opening to open the phone here, and I'm just going to insert my plastic tool in it. There you go. And now you can take off the blade and just work your way across on the sides of the phone. There you go. So once you have the phone leverage to take it off, just pry it off from the sides. There you go. So the phone is opened. And that's your camera and everything there. So we need to take off the screws on the top here. So I'm just going to do it in a while. So let's take off the motherboard and the cameras. Make sure your screws are aligned. Most of the screw size are the same, but you never know. There's one black screw near the camera here, so make sure it goes in the same place. So let's see if there's any difference when the camera is shaken. So what happens is when you take a video, the camera just vibrates and the video is all shaken when you take the video. So that is because the camera is faulty. So let's see why it is doing it. So we got all the screws off, and when you take the back glass, just be sure to take it off slightly, not too much. You can damage the flexes here or the camera lens here. All right, that thing out of the way. When you take off this particular flex, make sure there are no components on the side, and be very gentle when you take it off. It's being a bit funny, but take your time. You don't want to rush and damage any components. So this one is off. We can pull this one by holding the base of the flex. Once you take it off, we have to disconnect all the connectors. Make sure you're disconnecting it from the right angle, or else you'll end up damaging some components on the main board. So battery is from this side. Same thing over here. Try and be careful. Okay, this flex, we can take it from here. There you go. The top flex, let's take it from here. And then you have this flex, you can take it from the middle. There you go. Now we can take this particular part off. That's your earpiece. You see how much dirt is in there over there. I'm just going to clean it with my brush. If you have an air duster, you could use the air duster to help you out. So let's disconnect the front camera to take off the main board. So there you go. So to take off the motherboard, we need to take off the flexes a bit on top. So I'm just going to keep my screwdriver in between, or you can have your finger, and then just slowly lift the motherboard out from the screen. So this is how your motherboard looks on a S24 Ultra. So let's just turn it around. We need to take off this main camera here. Okay, so I'm just going to disconnect the cameras. There are arrow pointers here to tell you where to disassemble the camera from. There you go. I'm just going to turn it off. There's one camera remaining, and that's the one here. There you go. Oops, you don't want to damage the cameras. So now that you have the cameras in hand, I have a new camera here. So this camera is over here on this one. So let's see if it is shaking if I shake it off. So I've taken the protective covering and now see. Can you hear anything? I can't hear anything. It's very, very minor. So now I'm going to take off the camera assembly. So there's a screw which holds them here. Take this screw off and make sure you don't put any fingerprints on the camera lens. Just turn it off. There you go. So we need to take this camera out from here. So just put your blade in this particular section and pull it off. So that's one camera, and we need to take this camera out. This camera is a bit tricky now, so it's going to be a bit trickier than usual because it's right inside and it's glued down. I'm just going to try and take it off from here. There you go. You don't want to apply too much of force because you can damage the camera, but I have something of this particular type of tool which will make my life easy. There you go. So you need a uniform force to apply, but make sure you haven't damaged any of the camera flexes. The camera seems fine. I'm just going to see if there's any other damage on it. There you go. So this is the old one. You see, it shakes. Can you hear this? And now check this one out. That's the new one. I can't hear anything. But this one, you can. So basically what happens is this camera goes faulty. I'll try and shake this one. This is a lot of shake as well. I'll see if I have another camera. So friends, this is a newer camera I have. I'm just going to take off the protective covering and shake it. You see guys, this camera doesn't shake as much as this one. See this one? Very, very small shake. And now check this one out. See, I'll shake this one. Very small. And this one. See? Alright, so we need to replace these two cameras. This camera is faulty and this camera also is faulty. So let's get back to work. So let's connect them together. So this one goes here, and this one goes back on top here. This one is the new one. I'm just going to put this cover so I don't touch the fingers there. We're just searching for my other things. Oh yeah, don't want to touch my fingers to the lens. Oops. Yeah. And what I need to do now is connect this camera here and put the screw how we had done to disassemble it. So friends, this is how you do the camera replacement. So when you get the main board, it is quite simple. So we need to connect the cameras again. So I just want to align it with the camera now. So to make sure it's aligned properly. There you go. So as you can see, this one is on the top here. Everything else goes down, and just connect all the connectors on the camera. There you go. Make sure it's aligned and then you click on it. Otherwise you could damage the connectors. Great. Last one. There you go. Make sure you connect them again nicely. And you're good to go. So friends, time to put in the main board into the phone. So similar procedure. Make sure you go underneath from this flex here, and then underneath the front camera, and you're good to go. Make sure there's nothing hold underneath the main board when you press it down. So connect the camera and then your flex, and this flex is underneath here, battery on top, connector again, this connector goes here, and this connector goes here. And then we need to connect the battery. Make sure all the connectors are in place. Connect the battery now. Then we have the earpiece here. So press it and press the connector. Make sure it's pressed down. And then we have our wireless antenna. So connect it again. There you go. So friends, now you know why your camera vibrates or it shakes. It could be that the customer has dropped or the user has dropped it and it has damaged the internal camera mechanism, and hence it happens. It's not the manufacturer's fault. When you drop it, that's the time it happens. So you could argue that there's no damage on the phone, but yeah, it does happen because the phone has been dropped. Now we don't know how bad the drop was. That's another question. A small drop is fine. The camera can have it. It can happen with any camera. If you have a DSLR and you drop it, the lens can get damaged. So it does happen with the phones as well. So you ask yourself whether you dropped your phone and it happened after that, or it happened before that. So guys, there's no way of proving it that you have dropped it if there's no damage on the phone, but you are the person who knows it. So yeah, you can diagnose it if you have dropped it and the camera doesn't work. But that's how you can fix the phone, is by replacing the camera on it. Alright friends, thank you for watching, and please do subscribe.